information.
Politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago, do we have this thing out the fix? We coming with facts, cut them down like axe. Every kid and race finally got places love to the max. And when we tell them, Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Douglas politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago, do we have this thing out the fix? We coming with facts, cut them down like axe. Every kid and race finally got places love to the max. And when we tell them, Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Douglas politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago, do we have this thing out the fix? We coming with facts, cut them down like axe. Every kid and race finally got places love to the max. And when we tell them, Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Douglas politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago, do we have this thing out the fix? We coming with facts, cut them down like axe. Every kid and race finally got places love to the max. And when we tell them, Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero race talk, zero idiotic talk. I deal with facts and information.
Douglas politics, we don't get no kicks. Trinidad and Tobago, do we have this thing out the fix? We coming with facts, cut them down like axe. Every kid and race finally got places love to the max. And when we tell them, Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics.
And it is zero
Trinidad and Tobago till we have this thing out the fix. We coming with facts, cut them down like axe. Every kid and race finally got places love to the max. And when we tell them, Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics, listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics. Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics.
Good evening and welcome to Douglas Politics. I just come straight down south from the Senate. But let me tell you something. We were discussing it, and you all have to understand that a leader sets the tone in a country. A leader sets the tone in a school. Some of the best schools in Trinidad and Tobago, you go back, the principal was brilliant and set up and got the staff going, and then the children moved on and they improved. Whether it's Pres, Chaguanas, Barrackport, those schools that were always coming up. You have the perennial great schools, Naparima, Presentation, Fatima, CIC, QRC, and so on. You always see leadership in great sports teams. You'll see Clive Lloyd, Michael Jordan, Franz Beckenbauer. Leadership sets the culture of the team. In Trinidad and Tobago, we're in a total and complete mess. Women are being disrespected in every form of fashion across the board. Down to all your Babylon know that any woman who kinda halfway pretty, afraid all you. Because instead of protecting and serving, it always have a Babylon bubs who tracking woman. They speeding or they don't have on mask, or they're asking for the number. They frighten women, afraid even of the police. All you know that. All the ladies watching know that they don't even feel secure to call a policeman because they don't even know what will happen when they call the policeman. And that's what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago. Our women, our daughters, our mothers, our sisters are under threat. And I wonder why. It just so happened that we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, didn't care. We hire a misogynist. We hire a man who in 1969 was a teacher and impregnated a girl of school age. And you all didn't think that was a problem. You all thought that was normal. That should disqualify you immediately from being the prime minister, but we say no big thing. And on top of that, he didn't improve. He got worse with age. He got so misogynistic that he attacked women, disrespect women, victim blame. He attacked the leader of the opposition at every moment in the most vile language. And you all wonder why men getting on so. Well, they can't call them men, whatever them thing is. And women are under attack because it starts from the top. Leadership sets the tone. Leadership sets the trend. Let me ask all you something. Since all you didn't think it was big and the media played it down. If you have a 15-year-old or 16-year-old daughter and she come home and tell you, Pa, pregnant, before you pass out, you ball, but who's the father? And as you're shaking so and one eye open and you're about to knock out cold from the shock of the story, she say, me teacher, Pa, me teacher. What all you gonna do? 3 line, 3 canal, Puya, what all you go really do? You understand? Pa is teacher. What would you all do? But you all put that in the prime minister office and say that good, all you playing games. And now the country in a mess. Let we start there. Before we start the entire discussion, start right there. And let me show you, to show you what all you elect. Look and listen at the man all you say is Prime Minister. Look and listen carefully.
Because I will tell you, like she loved me, like she loved no other man. And because she knows that I love women, she thinks I love any woman. have taste. And when I don't take on, she on Ferry's back. The lady is naked all alone. And she's scratching in all room. The real lady is coming out. The lady in her is coming out. When I say bring out the what? A lawyer who was on the verge of being your attorney general, sucking from the nipple of the prime minister. If she has a problem, she has it still. And if she could find a candidate in South Fernando West, bring him, bring her, his licks in the waist, licks in the face, and licks all over your petty place. And she could jump high, she could jump low. She could drink this, she could drink that. She could back on the jug, because they know she can. I tell you. I'm coming with a coattail telling you, vote for Kamala. That is tantamount to hugging up a porcupine to go to bed. And if you want to know what happens when you don't properly oversee those expenditures, look at the people who have been managing the affairs, and you will see government ministers who came into office looking like Ms. Howard Chat, and you will see government ministers who came into office looking like Ms. Howard Chat. Prakash Ramadan, a member of the cabinet, telling you he has a safe seat in St. Augustine and he wants to go back for another 5 years to do this to you. To rape us with an umbrella and worse, to open the umbrella after. That's what they're doing to us.
Prime Minister, I'd like to take the conversation to a more social round, the social climate. You look on social media.
It's Christmas time, we should have some drinks then.
Well, perhaps of the non-alcoholic flavor.
Well, that is not drink. Of course, like a woman. You gotta groom her every day. Otherwise, it turns into a pasture. You could behave on a. Was that the word you used? I choose my words very carefully. I choose my word very carefully. You could behave as an effective opposition leader. I think the country is better for that. But geometry is not really the way to deal with these things. 1/3 of the murders in recent times are domestic violence or domestic issues. And then that you call on the Prime Minister to do something about crime. I'm not in your bedroom, I'm not in your choice of men. 1/3 of the murders in recent times are domestic violence or domestic issues. And then that you call on the Prime Minister to do something about crime. I'm not in your bedroom, I'm not in your choice of men.
And you all wonder why you have a problem? Did you all see that? Did you all see all the men clapping that stupid idiot? Did you see the ministers in parliament? Did you see Faris a la Taipans, a la recusal, a la clown, a la idiot, a la dunce, laughing? And did you see Mr. Dillon? Did you see them laughing? And then you all wonder why the message trickles down that you treat women with disrespect. All you could say what you want, politics is whatever. But Kamala Persad-Bissessar is a woman who was elected Prime Minister, the first woman Attorney General, the first woman. And not only Kamala Persad-Bissessar, everywhere thing the man talk, the man is doing an interview and flirting with a man's wife, and the woman not interested in he, and he thinks that's cool with the ugly flipping self. And then you all wonder why women are being disrespected when the leader of the country is doing it. Go back and show that picture. You know who's sitting down next to him there? Talking about who to choose, man. That his son who he ignored for 44 years when he was a teacher in 1969. He impregnated a girl of school age in Tobago, and all you elect that and have him talking about he not in all your home and women being abused and victim blaming and talking about women need grooming and geometry and disgusting and who cared this and that. That's all you elect. And all you're talking about, you wonder why man lost respect. That the most powerful position in the land who control the treasury, control the cabinet, appoints ministers, appoints everything, control the police, control the resources for the police, control the borders, now under pandemic, control your savings, control everything. All you elect that. All you elect that. And look the lady there when she was 16, when she was a girl of school age. She said, yes, we used to do a secret kind of something, and we used to go hide in here with a teacher. And all you come to talk, I ask all your fathers, and I am one of 2 daughters. If God, knock on wood, God forbid it ever happen to you, me, or anybody. You're 15-year-old or 16-year-old and 2 months for the maximum if it was only one sexual encounter. And we as men know it's rather difficult to impregnate someone on one sexual encounter. It happens, but normally you have to take a sustained attempt and watch, monitor, and so on. If you're really with your wife and you want to have a child and so on, you know how the science works. But if it was just one encounter between a teacher and a girl of student age, then she was 16 and 2 months. Well, let us take that age. Imagine your daughter coming home at 16 years and 2 months and say, Papa, Daddy, sit down. I am pregnant. You say, what, girl? But you have studies. What about your sport, your karate, your tennis? You have A-levels coming up. You're in lower 6. How are you pregnant? What is that? Who's the father? Who's the boy? Is Johnny that little fellow who was calling you and messaging you on Facebook and on Instagram, following you and tell you stay away from that sweet boy, that good looking young boy? No, pa. Is my teacher. Left foot, right foot. Still voting for that? You're voting for the teacher who impregnated your daughter, asking all your PNM left foot, right foot. Prime Minister, you know, arrogant, you know, talking, bullying everybody, you know, asking all your where the tree line. You see how serious the thing is? Members of the media, you all just let it pass. Let it pass. Because your owner's going to make money, everybody going to make money, financiers going to make money, but look now, the country in a mess. Everybody lighting candle, everybody crying. And then on top of that now, you have that man in charge of the National Security Council saying that the women who are under attack, just like he attacked Kamala, he attacked women, he shows what misogynism is. The women under attack, he's the one supposed to protect them, and he's the one saying no pepper spray. Gary Griffith, the expert of all experts, says pepper spray will give women a fighting chance. For the last 3 years, Kamala Persad-Bissessar said, give the woman pepper spray. For the last 3 years, in 2016, Kamala Persad-Bissessar tried to debate violence against women. A woman speaker denied the thing and nearly threw the woman out the parliament. Only think this thing start now? Pepper spray since 2019. Gary Griffith is saying, give women pepper spray. That man Rowley and Smallpin say they are consulting experts. While all your women, PNM woman, UNC woman, independent woman, apolitical woman, girls, everybody, mothers, granny, everybody under threat. But they are discussing from an expert other than the Commissioner of Police whether to give you pepper spray. And today in the Senate, I have to hear the most ludicrous asinine thing I've heard in life from the Minister of Agriculture in the Senate answering a question or a motion on the adjournment from Senator Paul Richards. Clarence, PNM Brian Lewis walking all over the country and do nothing for agriculture, Rambarat. Clarence Budit Rambarat talking and saying that pepper spray more deadly than gun. Only don't laugh. You see me laughing? The Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Clarence Budit Rambarat, say in the Senate, not once and not twice, that pepper spray more deadly than gun. All you feel the Douglas lie, eh? All you feel, Anil, you're so wicked, Anil. How you go lie on the PNM so you have to make up that, Anil? Stop fabricating on Clarence Boudit Rambarat. Because you know I keep saying Boudit? Them talking about respect for women. All you know who's Boudit? Ask Clarence. When Vandana beat he and Boudit down in Chaguanas East. Run the track now. Let me hear Clarence. Back to me. Alright, new technology, new set, Archie. Find it correct, it's alright. But twice an emotion on the adjournment. Today, go and check Parliament channel also. They only give me the signal when you have the clip ready. Clarence Rambarat say, when they were asked Paul Richards wanting to tell them that the Commissioner of Police said give women pepper spray. Pepper spray. Rowley say, we're discussing that because if we bring pepper spray, the bandits will get pepper spray. As if bandit going and line up to sign up and fill out license to get pepper spray. Bandit have Uzi, bandit have gun, bandit have nines, bandit showing off in video with all kind of thing. Them go want pepper spray. Gary Griffith said women need that pepper spray to burn the bandit, burn the rapist, burn them man eye. And Small Pin, who's sitting down as Jolene John say, when he lie down with the girl, whether in Goodwood Park or with Asha Javid, as he does alternate, whichever one, wherever he go, it has 6 to 8 big strong black man with gun guarding he. The Small Pin safe. But all you are nobody guarding all you when you're going out to take taxi. And when the gas subsidy gone and they liberalize the gas stations and privatize, and you can't afford to drive your car, more women, children, mothers, sisters, grandmothers going to have to take public transportation. They're going to be out there for the wolves and monsters to take them without pepper spray. And they have a PNM minister in Senate today bawling that pepper spray more deadly than gun. If you know how to use a pepper spray, a gun not as bad as pepper spray. That is why we does always see in them murder. Johnny was shot 12 times with 12 squirts of pepper spray, and he died in the middle of the road bleeding from his eye hole because of the pepper spray. And we see that murders were committed, over 500 murders because of pepper spray. That's what Clarence Rambarat say. All you have it yet? Here's what run the thing, man, run the thing.
Pepper spray, Madam President, could be more lethal than a firearm. Pepper spray, Madam President, could be more lethal than a firearm. Pepper spray, Madam President, could be more lethal than a firearm in the wrong hands.
Pepper spray could be more lethal than a firearm. So a Madrid have a 9s with 15 in the clip, 14 in the clip, and 1 in the pipe. And you are your pepper spray. You more deadly if you know how to use your pepper spray than the bandit with a gun. That is the PNM who in charge of we safety. Are you really serious? We moving right along. Dealing with the Guardian newspaper. For a few days they start to attack the UNC. The whole crime situation come down to 2 pieces of paper in Parliament. They do an editorial Friday, February 5th. Stop playing politics with crime, says the Guardian. And they demand from those, they said, but others need to be held to account for their many egregious failures, and they must be called out for repeatedly neglecting to do what they were elected to do in the interest of the country. What? Guardian attack here and see that wasn't good enough. They come out the next day and they put the same rubbish on the front page now to attack the UNC. And attack and say that women and children, women and girls are being raped and killed and bludgeoned because of 2 pieces of paper. But the Guardian, you didn't have the facts, eh? You didn't have all the facts. Because in an emotional situation without facts, you would want to believe what is painful. Bail, 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 no bail, no bail, no. And if that was so simple, and if we had a guiltometer, you're right, no bail, lock up everybody. Is it that simple? Or are laws very serious and have to be judged within the confines of constitutional rights, freedom, and the presumption of innocence? Furthermore, The Guardian, you're not telling the truth. Listen to Rudal Munilal last night, and then you also go on Facebook and listen to Saddam Hussein and listen to Jayanti Lakshmi Dayal, and you will see the whole picture. Not this myopic nonsense, political, disgusting, disgraceful nonsense being perpetrated by the Guardian newspaper. And that's why I commend you all. Don't buy it. Don't put no ads in it. Let them go down to zero with the PNM Balizé juice uplifting the misogynist. Well, let this be the misogynist paper. All right? Archie run Munilal. Let me hear Munilal.
They are telling people the UNC must pass the bail bill. We have no bail bill. The UNC keeping back. We're not fighting crime. I have in my hand here Act number 17 of 2019. This is called the bail bill. It was passed with the support of the United National Congress. Brothers and sisters, this was passed in the House of Representatives on the 31st of July 2019. This expires. First, they came to Parliament and they wanted 5 years. We said, no, we're not giving you so long. We give you 3 years. So it was passed. So this, at clause 7, it says, this act shall continue in force for a period of 3 years from the date of its commencement. 2019 and 3 is what? 2022. So what you come in to tell people you need a bail bill? You have the bail bill.
And just to make sure that all you know, Anil, Munilal, we lie. Let me show all you when the UNC supported the government and passed the bail bill that the Guardian say the whole crime, all the women who died is UNC fault. It's not misogynist fault. It's not disrespect to women. It's not loss of jobs. It's not poor crime fight. It's not the worst minister of national security in history. It's not no Coast Guard. It's not no army. It's not no patrol. It's not influx of immigrants. It's not no CCTV cameras. It's not under-resourcing of the TTPS. It's the UNC did not vote for the bail bill. Show them who vote for the bail bill. Show them, play.
Honorable members, with a division of 32 members voting for, 0 members voting against, and 0 abstentions, the motion for the third reading of the Bail Amendment Bill 2019 is approved.
This was the outcome after the House went into committee stage and the votes were taken. The bail bill will deny bail for 120 days to a person charged with a listed offence that is punishable for a term of imprisonment of 10 years or more. This includes firearm-related offences. When it was time to vote, all 22 MPs on the government bench voted for the bill.
Dr. Rowley?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mrs. Robinson-Ritchie?
Aye.
Mr. Dayal Singh?
Aye.
It was the same on the opposition side with their 10 MPs present. It was a result the government was pleased with.
Mrs. Gardine Gopi Singh?
Yes.
Mr. Indar Singh?
Yes.
Ms. Ramdiyal?
Yes.
Mr. Singh?
Yes.
See, what you want me to say in this country? You elect a man who stand up in the parliament for an hour and 15 minutes with some pieces of paper concocted which he held in his hand for 6 months, went up to the chairman of the Integrity Commission up in Newbury Hill, drank tea and scones, spoke to him, called a motion of no confidence in a sitting prime minister, went live on TV for an hour and 15 minutes and read out some of the most abject nonsense, dishonest, disgusting accusations about murder, about bugging DPP office involving the now Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith and other UNC ministers stood there and for 5 years and 3 elections under a cloud of no investigation and discussing about, well, it wasn't emails, but we have to investigate the contents of something that does not exist. Now you see why this country is in the mess that it is. Guardian newspaper and other members of the mass media, when you allow lies like that to be perpetrated across the globe, when the Guardian can put a ridiculous front page editorial that is totally false. Not only is it nonsensical to think that a crime situation and to protect women is just about 2 pieces of paper. To protect our women requires a myriad of activities, policies, gender policy, discretion, education, parental education, school education, job opportunities, magistrates court, women court, domestic violence, children authority. All of these things have to work together to protect our women. But them come and say, bail amendment. But look, the UNC voted for it unanimously. That's 2019. That's just there. It's still in existence. They say no bail for any crime that could go up 10 years. Rape is above 10 years. If for rape you could get 12 to 15 years, you could get rape, grievous bodily harm and so on, 20 years. So that exists. So what are you talking about? So stop the lying. Y'all are the government. You've been the government for 6 years. Crime is out of hand. Our women are disrespected. Our daughters are being raped and murdered. And y'all are sitting down there, small pin, recusal twins, just handing out contract to yourself, to your friends, to your family, recusing yourself. And your prime minister is the biggest, most disrespectful human being. I telling all you, anybody know, all of we who went boys school and Lyman thing, we would not even line with Rowley. Because it's a boys code. There are certain rules. You don't lie on your looks and you don't treat women so. You understand? That man would be a pariah around we. We'd have run him. Boy, move from here, boy. We not lying with you, boy. You don't fit in here. Because you're disrespecting girl, you're disrespecting woman. Move from here. But all you're gone. Because he is the link to the financiers. And contract given out left, right, and center without procurement legislation. Ministers procuring, procurement legislation gutted. He's spending all your money and tell all you who better to spend it than me. A man who gravel roll from my hospital and end up and pile up by me. A man who sit down there and his friend and them went up in the sky and make hundreds of millions of dollars. A man who lie on Manning and say Shanghai construction, call the heart, you the cut. Up inquiry and put that small pin and after sit down as a lawyer, draws in hundreds of thousands of dollars in the off inquiry, 91 recommendations. He break all of them recommendations. Come into parliament, lie on Kamala and Munilal and Gary Griffith, email gate, come as prime minister, lie down the place, disrespect woman, put woman put black man in gorilla suit in a PNM family day, black man in a gorilla suit, you know. And all you say, Indian don't like black man because a baby was eating a banana. But all you in the PNM put big strong black man in red gorilla suit and pull the yellow sari off a woman, disrobing and raping the clothes of a woman. And that is the PNM. That is the leadership. And now y'all are talking about women are being disrespected. All the other THA election, they talk about the Auditor General, they talk about the tourism industry, the crash of the sea bridge, creating job opportunities, removing 70% of the workforce from the THA. They talk about that. They talk about why the airport gone up from 500 to 1.3 billion. Everything you see in the PNM, in the THA election, is a set a nice woman in pom-pom shorts, whining the beautiful derriere. I enjoy. It was nice. If a woman want to dance, they could dance. It looked good. But what message is a politics? It's leadership. It's responsibility. It's policy. That's your campaign. And then you all want to know why women being disrespected? Leadership had nothing to do with it, and You don't have, so why you create leader? Why they have council? Why they have Zoom conference on leadership? Why people just pay money? Why men became billionaires? Because they sell books and give lectures on leadership. Guardian, all you continue there? Saddam Hussein went into great detail in a press conference on Sunday, talking about the bail amendment. We're talking all of this, talking all the truth. Guardian takes the article and prints UNC not budging on bail amendment bill. Now you just saw that if we're not budging, we already voted for it. You saw it just now. But the Guardian, to promote their lies and to keep Rowley, to keep you all thinking that that scumbag deserves to be where he is. That's what the Guardian does. That's why you must fire Bundy Guardian. Don't buy it. Don't put no ads in it. Right? Hussein, UNC not making decisions based on emotions. Not budging on bail amendment bill. Saddam Hussein went into a forensic analysis of the crime situation, the judiciary and the problems therein, and the under-resourcing by this PNM government of the DPP office, of the magistrates court, of the entire system, the lack of resources to the police, who then can't make the cases on time, and the entire system is clogged. He went through that in detail. The Guardian come to say, UNC not voting for a bail amendment bill, therefore fire burn UNC. UNC responsible for women being hurt. Guardian, y'all are sick. And just to show you all how sick the Guardian is, well, listen, but Anely, you're really prosecuting a case? Yes, because when I tell you don't buy and don't spend, I'm telling you why, and I'm showing you why. I'm not saying it lightly, I'm proving it to you. Look, I'm going to read an advertisement printed in the Guardian by the Guardian. Guardian Classifieds. Get the highest reach and impact when you place your Guardian Classifieds with one person online. Now there's even more convenience, right? Get the highest reach and impact. Out of 3 newspapers, Guardian was last before the boycott at 17,000 per day. Express is up at 79,000 per day. And the Newsday, which used to be at a high of 49,000 per day about 3 years ago, is down to about 12,000 per day. The Guardian now selling 7,000 per day. And them saying, them is the #1 in reach. Lie! And if you can lie like that, what Manning say? Show me a liar and I'll show you a thief. So Guardian, that is why you will go down. And yes, the Guardian improve, you know. They improve, but don't get tired. The boycott remains until they learn that the journalistic integrity and the principles of journalism must be upheld so that people can vote and have elections on leadership that will lead the country in the right direction, away from disrespecting women, uplifting women, putting young women in the parliament, giving them opportunities to thrive, to show, to set policy, to move the country forward in a meaningful way, diversifying and creating jobs, and respect for all. People could vote on that instead of voting for misogynist left foot, right foot, because the newspapers say, he's okay, he's my brother. Not mine. Might be bald head. Nothing about that resemble nothing about me. Let me tell you something. The Guardian prints. We the people want more from young. All of a sudden they're changing the tune, right? Monday, February 8th. Since Friday, Munilala asked Young a simple question in a very calm way. Sir, people are suffering. Girls are dying. Women are being attacked. The Commissioner of Police has said over 800 CCTV cameras are not functioning and have not been functioning for some time. When do you envisage that these cameras will be working? Is that a fair question? Is that a question that you want to know the answer to? Is that a question that is very important? Are CCTV cameras very important in helping the police fight crime and keep our women safe? Well, I would think so. Munilala asked that question. And the clown, arrogant fool, dunce, small pin started with this most arrogant, you all have seen it. But if you see man pelting stone, the one who ball out, you have to watch he and all kind of idiotic thing. As soon as possible, as soon as possible. 2 years now, not functioning. Why? But the Guardian comes 4 days after. Because of your pressure, the people pressure, because of no ads, because of low circulation. It may have missed the Minister of National Security, says the Guardian. And I commend the Guardian for this. But Guardian, one editorial does not negate 10 years of biased PNM political trite and rubbish. So don't try that. We are monitoring. When we see that you have returned and gone back to basics, then the boycott will be eased. But until then, fire burn you, not a cent for you, and nobody buying it. It may have missed the Minister of National Security, Stuart Young, that the country is in absolutely no mood for arrogance, cockiness, and egocentric attitudes from him, the government, and all who have responsibility for the safety and security of citizens. But just 24 hours after the heart of the nation tore and bled by the discovery of the body of an innocent young lady who had been murdered and thrown over a cliff like yesterday's garbage, Young took a grotty stance in Parliament. Is it that the minister has never been trained in emotional intelligence? You now realize that, Guardian? You didn't realize that before August 10th. You didn't realize that in 2016. You didn't realize that when he approved and then say he didn't drill down into Delcy, PDVSA, and a sanctioned jet landing during a COVID pandemic. You didn't see that arrogance and lack of emotional intelligence when he attacked citizens from Barbados, the Begonians, 33 retired nurses who were stuck there, the people who were stuck in Venezuela, these people who were stuck in Suriname, when he attacked the Bajans, when he attacked citizens outside who were looking for exemptions, when he lie and ball and say there everybody back home, and down to today you're seeing people still begging to come home. You all didn't see none of that. You didn't see that when he recused himself 52 times from the cabinet because he had a conflict of interest. You didn't see that while he's swearing as a minister, his brother just get $3.81 billion in work. All you didn't see nothing wrong with that. You now see it because the people have shown you that they don't want to spend money in your nasty newspaper. They continued, Guardian. Is it that the minister has never been trained in emotional intelligence, or does he simply lack empathy, or is he sitting too loftily high up to be able to hear the voices of the nation and to clear the voices from the ghetto and the voices from the palaces? All he didn't care when the fire services come and say, move them thing, them table, them plant and take out of the hallway from the place in Westmoreland where all the tenants had signed and said, these are the rules. And then they find out that is he and his father and his mother living there. And they change the report. All you didn't find out about that, all you didn't want to ask about that, fire services falls under national security, under small pin. Munilal brought it in the parliament. Did you all find out? Did you all ask what's the position? They continued, Guardian. So when Dr. Munilal asked the question on the CCTV cameras, Young surely ought to have known that he was asking on behalf of the people. He was the voice of hundreds of thousands of crying out for justice and begging for a reason on why this happened. To Young, however, he was a man to watch, a man obsessed, and a man to be viewed with suspicion. This Minister Young was disrespectful to us all. We are all obsessed with our safety. Well, Guardian, you are being disrespectful to the country. Since Kamala was Prime Minister, when you had Anika Gum-Sandiford writing lies on the front page, not only on me, but on the entire government, when you wrote headlines saying that the government of Trinidad and Tobago lost the arbitration to BAE for $1.2 billion, when it was the exact reverse, and you never corrected it, Guardian. Gabriel Faria, Jerry Brooks, all your PNM sycophants who use the newspaper, now you're paying the price. And the country is paying the price because you upheld incompetence. You hid and protected incompetence. You allowed arrogance to pervade the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago. You created a government that has this country in total collapse and chaos. An unemployment rate on average of young boys between 18 and 25 of 35%. Over 36% of businesses never to open again. 240,000 people have lost jobs in the last 3 years. 103,000 before COVID. Our reserve requirement, our reserves held have dropped from 12 billion US down to 6 billion. Our HSF has dropped from 7.8 billion US down to 4.9 billion US, and we don't know where it's been spent. Our foreign exchange is gone they're saying that our real rate, if it's not managed by the central bank, is 13 to 1. Businessmen are now buying US at 10 to 1 normal, because they cannot get to buy their goods. They cannot get credit. People are telling them you cannot get credit. You have to pay cash. Our businessmen are suffering because of the incompetence of this government that was upheld by you, Guardian, and other members of the media. The Express has started to be faced since October, so I'm supporting the Express. I don't forgive them for the 9 years of nonsense, but at least when you get better, you must be able to say better. So Express, I hope you keep going. Nobody wants you to be on my side, or Archie's side, or Vishnu's side, or Kamla's side, or Munilal's side. Just be on the countryside. Ask the right questions. Ask the hard questions. Respect journalism. Respect the integrity of journalism and uphold the principles of journalism. I talk too much. I go in and drink some crystal water, boy. Not no blue waters. Hey, blue waters, fire burn you. I ain't done with you yet. Crystal waters. Government juice or any other water. Not blue waters. And all you want to treat the population with disdain, fire burn the blue waters. All you got to sell it 5 case for $20, and we go still leave it there. Crystal waters, free advertisement. We coming back.
Politics. This is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics. Listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics.
I back here already. 16-year-old girl found with gunshot wounds dies. When is that? Somebody now send me that. I'm confused. Please tell me this is an old story. February 9th, 2021. A 16-year-old girl was found with a gunshot wound at her Claxton Bay home earlier today, and she has died. She has been identified as Tamika Griffith. All they don't send me that, look how they throw up my whole show then. What I go say? Let me tell you something. The PNM called an election because the media, including the Guardian, convinced all of you, and some of you, you know you believed it. Take your minds back to August 9th, 2020. You believed, for whatever reason. I confused? I don't understand. Because I did my best to try and ask you all, to show you all the science, to say that this thing not making sense. But some of you all really believed, and I'm talking about intelligent people, businessmen, with plenty money, plenty business, plenty house, plenty car. I had debates with, and I just couldn't understand how they thought and believed that Keith Christopher Rowley, Convent Girl, and the PNM did well with COVID. Remember back in 2019, all of you, you're really ready to get rid of Convent Girl recusal twins before you even knew they were the recusal twins. They got a sound whooping on December 3rd, 2019 in the local government election, and then coming wrong into 2020, by March, February, just before March, the country was ready to get rid of Rowley. Then COVID pandemic came, and the lies came from the Guardian and from the Trinidad Chamber, and market fact surveys paid for by Gabriel Faria and so on, and the Oxford study that said Trinidad and Tobago is #1, and the lack of testing. And I tried to show you all, but we have no curve. We have not even done enough testing. You don't have enough information to even create a curve, but all you're believing that we're doing good. When you do, if you don't test, you have nothing. And it went on. And Rowley's approval rating on COVID. You're a Yankee out there, yes. Dr. Rowley, praise Dr. Rowley for the COVID. Remember that? That Indian lady is going to take all the jobs, all of that. You all believe that and went and vote. Well, on top of those who vote, and then damn the add-on with the EBC and the girl, the niece and thing, right? But it's all right, go ahead. God don't sleep. And you all said that Rowley was doing good with his COVID. Rowley make a joke, and big human beings believe that Kamala was going to build a dome. What is she going to? Dome builders, dome mason, dome cleaners, dome sweepers, remember? And big people, including Karen Nunes Teixeira, not understanding what a security dome is, but now you're seeing it. Senator Lyda showing you Venezuelan fishing boats coming in and they're going in massy stores and walking in and out without COVID. Smallpin telling you, even though Lyda asked him 7 weeks before, what's the situation? He now pelting it on Gary Griffith and say, well, take the information to Gary Griffith, and then it's businessmen responsibility to make sure that all them Venezuelan vote that reach there, that the people don't get off the boat. No customs, no Ministry of Health, no swabs, no army, no Coast Guard, nothing. Open porous borders coming in. Migrants walking across from Venezuela. COVID raging in Venezuela. We on lockdown, economy shattered, but yet COVID still here. And yet, we have a Caribbean Airlines and airline under COVID protocols in Trinidad and Tobago that just recently, 3 days ago, had a flight from Trinidad to Tobago, and they packed the plane 100% full. Not a spacing, not a separation, because they tried to say that in the US, the CDC say you could fill the plane to 100%, but this is not US airspace, this is Trinidad and Tobago airspace, and the last time I checked, the people in charge of Trinidad and Tobago airspace is the cabinet and government of Trinidad and Tobago, including Rowley and Smallpin, and they have closed the airspace, and they have said social distancing and separation, and not 100% capacity in a plane. A man got sick and started to vomit blood in the plane so packed up, blood all over, spewing all over. They tried to wipe it down with 3 napkins, and a doctor said, no, you have to clean that, you have to get us off, you have to deplane, you have to sanitize. They walk the man. They don't even know protocol. They should have used the back exit so that he would not walk past the bulk of passengers in 100% capacity plane. Then walk the man through the entire cabin so that if he had anything, if he had COVID, well, everybody get chance to get it. Then when they reach, they're supposed to have specific ambulance for emergency and medical treatment with IV and emergency oxygen and so on. Them had nothing. Them basically had a PH taxi to come up there and no IV, nothing for the man. On top of that, they had a first aid kit on the plane that they couldn't open. These are serious breaches. We are paying men $42,000 US per month, and all they say that Tanti and them can't get US because leakage. And the man who they wait for a year, pay him $42,000 US while he was not even here for about 7 months of the COVID, plus putting him up in Millennium Park with big money. He is an expert, but he is so bright that in order to get a COVID plan going forward, the government who paid he $42,000 US a month going to pay more money to an international expert to create a plan. I thought all you pay he to make the plan. So what you pay he for, and he can't make a plan, all you have to go and buy and pay for consultants to make a plan going forward? How much COVID spread there? What are the protocols? What you have to say, Convent girl? What is the norm? But all you're shutting down Zesa party and putting black boys to take picture. But on very Caribbean Airlines, no social separation, man vomiting, no medical kit open, no ambulance, not proper ambulance, walking them through everybody when a man's sick. Very good. I already talk about them thirsty police officers. But Carl looking for more money. On top of that, check Carl. Hey, Asha Javid, writing in the business. How come you don't write in the politics anymore, Asha Javid? Is it because you're in love with the Smallpin? Don't see him much these days. Check him by Goodwood Park, girl. You go find him there. You all might think that's funny, but it's not. Because that woman wrote all the perception you all have about Kamala and the UNC. Asha Javid was one who wrote for the Express front page at least 70 front pages between 2010 June and 2016 against Kamala Persad, the Sesana government. And within that time, she was in love with 2 separate PNM ministers, of which one is now the super minister, the Smallpin. Me and mine, if she likes Smallpin, that's your choice. But my point is, you cannot like me and he the same time. And if you are going to write on political investigative journalists and you like one side and not the next, then it's unbalanced. It's not impartial. And as soon as the Express found out, when I bust it on the radio with on Power 102, they push you in business. Look at reading from the Asha Javid, boy. How you going, girl? Where the clause, the sanction clause, only you see it. When you saw it upside down, Stuart hold it for you, because nobody else has seen it, and you see it after the contract done pay off. Who changes a contract after consideration has been paid and goods delivered? 9 months after receiving a bailout of more than $400 million from the government, majority state-owned Caribbean Airlines is looking for more cash to keep the airline flying. More cash. We're still on the COVID. Dr. Richards, numbers low, but war on COVID-19 not over. Now understand this. The lies continue, and they're being upheld by people of science, you know. This is Dr. Richards, and there's a Dr. Avery Hines also. Let me read for you what they say, and you tell me if it makes sense, okay? While a relatively small number of COVID-19 cases were recorded over the weekend, Principal Medical Officer in charge of institutions, Dr. Mariam Abdul Richards, is urging the public to be vigilant. From Friday to Sunday, the highest recorded number of COVID-19 cases was 5. While the number of cases was low, there was still need for caution, and she encouraged people to wear masks, practice hand hygiene, and observe physical distancing. In spite of the supposed success of the government in managing COVID-19 pandemic thus far, I would like to appeal to the public. Let me ask you all this. They say there were 5 positive tests. How many tests were conducted? How many tests, how many sweeps? Certain Caribbean islands are going house to house and testing the entire population over a 6-day period. 100,000 people. How many tests were conducted? You have that information? They say they had 5 positives. How many people you know who were in direct contact with a positive COVID-19 person and they have not received their results for the test, or they have not been tested? They went into so-called quarantine and nobody called them in 16 days. They went in quarantine, come back out, they have not been tested, have not received their tests and gone. Do you all believe that we have data? Do you all believe that we have adequate testing, that doctors could be coming to conclusive results? If you have 20 mole on your body and a doctor tests 1 and say, boy, you have no cancer, boy. Go home and drink rum and relax and party. You gone? Well, then you would not be very bright, because any scientist will tell you that they will need to take more specimens. They might need to test 8 or 10 or 12 or all in order to tell you that they're not malignant and thing before you go home. They test 1 and you gone home to line. This article continued because the hoodwinking, and for a newspaper to print this. First of all, for doctors to say this when the doctors know full well that that's not right, that you have no data to give any information. That's why they say supposed and it might be good, but be careful. If it was true, if they were really testing, if they had tested 50,000 people in the last 3 weeks and they only got 5 positives, then they can confidently say, be safe, but go ahead, we are conquering this, it's diminishing, still be careful, but we're doing very well. You could say that with a degree of certainty because the science backs you up. But when you know you ain't test, you ain't conduct no test, you ain't no nothing, you have no contact tracing, you have no antibody testing, you have no antigen testing, you're in a total complete mess. People liming and partying if they're allowed to because them are balisé. There are election going on, you could whine and jam and have no mask on. But if you're by residence, you get put on and lock up. That's the policy. You have immigrants coming in every day. 100, 200, 400. Out of that, how many getting swabbed? How many getting tested? You saw our football team. We went there to the USA to be slaughtered because of a dunce coach that we have called Terry Fennick. You all saw it. They were getting tested every 3 hours. You saw Sean Fuentes and them getting tested. How many illegal immigrants getting tested coming across? This war against COVID-19 is not over. Despite our low figures and low hospital occupancy rates, we must continue to exercise COVID-19 mitigation measures. Our low hospital occupancy, so why are our citizens outside? Why are our citizens not receiving exemptions? Why are our citizens being locked out? If there's low hospital occupancy, it means you have space, mean your system could take, mean people could come home. You see how they're contradicting themselves? Dr. Avery Hines noted that areas which had the highest activity seldom extended beyond 5 or 6 cases. With St. George Central, St. Andrew, he also said while the cases were not very high at present, it was important for people to continue obeying the regulation. Dr. Hines, please sit down and tell me, do a Facebook and show me, Mr. Scientist, show me how many tests you've done in the last 6 months, the coverage of the country, the contact tracing, how the efficiency, the checking up, the double checks. They go and show us what you have done. You have done nothing, but you're talking every day. It's amazing, and our media just print that to give you all the impression that we've done well. Everybody home, and Small Pen say that. All citizens home, all of them, all the citizens out there was under skull and tricks and triple application, and them who want to come because they're not ready here, they want to come and visit. Oh, that was Rowley's daughter, because she don't live here. She works out there. Her husband is a foreigner. Them came in and they went back. Oh, I didn't know Small Pen was attacking Rowley's daughter. So, Trini cruise ship worker begs to return home. 14 months still at sea. A Wallafield grandmother who has been on Royal Caribbean International cruise ship for over a year is begging the government to give her not just an exemption, but also a reasonable opportunity to return home. I thought everybody home. Trinidad and Tobago ranks 28 on global COVID-19 performance index. First of all, they say global, but it's 28 out of 60 countries or so on. Global means 207 countries, sovereign nations, okay? So I don't know how the Guardian prints global, but we rank 28. So we're not number 1. But let's see this ranking of 28, It's printed by Joel Julian on Thursday, February 4th. Out of 98 countries based on several key indicators. Let's see what these indicators are, because I want to know what were we graded on, including confirmed cases, deaths, cases per million people, and deaths per million people. Well, confirmed cases, if you don't test, do you have a number of confirmed cases that is adequate or real? You all answer that. Deaths, if you have an increase in deaths from pulmonary and cardiac and lungs and so on, in an article in The Guardian printed by Mark Bassant, and then not a follow-up article after that, showing an increase in 2020 between February and April of 340 extra cases due to lung disease and lung deaths. We don't know what that was, how much autopsy. We know if it's COVID or if it's just asthma and flu and Sahara dust. You all know? I don't know. Cases per million people and deaths per million people. So on those statistics, now keep in mind we have no statistics, we have no data, we have not tested. So they have taken our non-data and plugged it in and compared it to countries with data. That makes sense? If all you like that, well, I can tell you that the next time the West Indies play India in 5 tests, we're going to win all 5 within 3 days. If all you will believe that, after we beat India all 5 tests within 3 days, we will go down to Australia at the Waka, the Waba, and in Perth and so on, and we will beat Australia 4 test matches out of 4 within 4 days. All you will believe anything if all you believe that big bunch of nonsense. We're moving right along, you know. Let me drink some crystal waters, no blue waters. Franklin Can say we have big hopes for energy and oil and gas in 2022. We in 2021 February. He talking 2022, but here it is. Because when you vote left foot, right foot, this is what you get, you know. Total abject incompetence. You get a minister standing up in the Senate telling you pepper spray more deadly than gun, you know. All you heard it and didn't say pepper spray in the right hands could be more deadly than gun. All right. Well, where's the boy who sing that song, so? What your name? Stevie Wonder? Well, maybe if Stevie Wonder had the gun, then the pepper spray might be more deadly because Stevie Wonder shooting all over the place, right? That is the only way. At Clarence Rambarat Budet, the government optimism has led it to keep Train 1 of Atlantic LNG operational after BP, the country's leading natural gas supplier, declined to renew its contract. So the intelligence here, the people in the business say, no, that ain't worth nothing. We can't invest there. We have no returns. We will make no profit. Fire burn that. Franklin Cannon, the PNM, the Bright Boys, and the Recusal Twins say, yes, man, Frankie, looking good. Looking good there, Frankie. They say, them going and take it over. And then they advertise and boast to you in the newspapers. $100 million investment in oil and gas. So I see some of y'all get excited. No. It's Heritage Petroleum, which is the government, which is Rowley lawyer in charge, sign a contract with the government, which is Franklin Cannon and Rowley. So Rowley sign a contract with Rowley for $100 million and put that in the papers and tell all you, thing looking good, we have investment. There are also hopes for improvement in supply from Heritage Petroleum, which recently signed a $100 million deal with the government. This is a Newsday editorial, you know. The Newsday editorial has just told you people that Heritage Petroleum signed a $100 million investment MOU with the government. Heritage Petroleum is the government. Do you see what passes as journalism? Anything to try and make incompetent human beings seem okay so that we could then vote on race and them get 322 and we get 305 and them in charge of the treasury and them going with everything and always say Kamala thief. But everything not working. Elections have consequences. They continue. Hopes for renewal of oil fortunes are challenged by the growing lack of interest demonstrated by mainstream oil. So here the whole editorial tell you, yes man, things looking good. But quite down here, you start to get the truth. Because any expert in the business tell all you, we in for dark times because of poor decision, poor negotiation. Rowley and Smallpin negotiating in Houston, shut down Point Lisas, 10 companies shut down, 6 more to go. Over 35,000 jobs in jeopardy now because credit rating has been downgraded for NGC. NGC make a loss for the first time in its history. But Franklin Cannon Rowley telling all you, everything is looking good. Let me show you all again incompetence, right? They shut down Petrotrin. All you don't know why? Nobody said shut down Petrotrin. The Lashley report, the Solomon report, the McKinsey report, which was paid for by the PNM, by the government to give you a report on what to do with Petrotrin. None of those reports, $64 million worth of advice, said don't shut it down. Cut it, sharpen it. It's overweighted with work, you know, make it more efficient. The board under the plantation owner, Espinay, Winifred Espinay said, we never said, he said under oath in the labor court, we never said shut it down, but Rowley shut it down. Just coincidentally after Kamala bust the $100 million fake oil and Rowley say, yes, that's my friend. I'm the head of the National Security Council. I'm the head of Petrotrin. But I call my friend because he was accused of doing something against Petrotrin that I'm in charge of. I call him to ask him, hey, Bridget, who is that one? And all of you media said, that's okay. That's great corporate governance. That's separation of powers. That's democracy. That's brilliant. That's first world. That's what you all said. Okay. Well, listen now. Petrotrin shut down. Here's the next problem. Franklin Cannon, show him. Petrotrin houses valued at $550 million. Franklin Cannon said the market valuation for the bungalow houses, which was conducted by a valuation firm in 2019, and the value of this stock of houses exclusive of the land was valued at $550 million. Right? He was asked questions by David Lee, the chief whip of the UNC. Now, that is all your thing, you know. That is not Franklin Cannon, Rowley and Recusal Twin House and thing, you know. That is all your thing. Let them shut down and have it there. Them value it to do what? What they value it for? To sell your thing. But do you know when it disposing of assets like that, that the procurement legislation that they cut and got, that don't come under the regulator? Plus the land on it ain't even value yet, and the land don't come under the valuator because they got all your procurement legislation. They legalize thieving right in front of your face in the parliament and the senate. We fight. But people abstain, all kind of thing, and people vote for it. What you want me to do? Die the constitution, die the system, die all the power the opposition have. But all right, but all you go get the facts. He said the market value. Now that was 2019. It shut down till 2018. 2 years and something. Those houses have depreciated. All of y'all know. All of y'all who didn't get exemption and you were outside and you weren't there to live in your house is depreciated dramatically because you're not living in it, you're not cleaning it, you're not monitoring it, your air condition leaking, all kind of thing, your dog dead because you couldn't feed them, you're rusting, you're burglar proofing, everything, cobweb, mold, all kind of thing because you were outside because Rowley and them wouldn't let all you inside. So what about all those houses that belong to y'all? So if they were worth 550 million in 2019, 2 years later, what you all think? They left there in the sun, rain, cobweb, spider, lizard, iguana, all kind of thing, breaking up, termite, no cleaning, dust. You think they're still worth 550 million or they gone down to about 400 million? So when the PNM sell it to their friend and them for 200 million and then they refurbish it and sell it for 550 million and make 80 million, all you vote for that left foot, right foot. Do it like Stuart Young. They say how to move my head more to do it like Stuart Young. I can't do it. And the Douglas ain't no real dancer. But Stuart Young, but me, you know. They say, anyway, if you can't dance, you can't do nothing, you know. Then, they also said, the minister said, when they're talking that, remember they removed the security and all from Petrotrin, and I was saying, but why are you moving the security? You have in place security who know the facilities, know how to move, know where the gaps are, know all the thing. You move them out and put your brethren Amalgamated and thing. Amalgamated do such a good job that some men went to thief copper and one of the youth men get killed. And Amalgamated still have the contract. But thieving copper, you know who copper it is they was thieving? All your own. And now the big one, government to free up fuel market. All you pay attention to the parliament and Senate next week, you know. Because Franklin Can is going to bring the bill. COVID-19, under COVID-19 protects the pain. You don't feel it as much as you will, you know. Because the aggregate demand in the world has diminished. The world has slowed down because of COVID-19. It's starting to pick back up because of the vaccination and so on. When the world gets back to normal, and it will, and aggregate demand, oil prices, refinery prices, gas prices, fuel prices go up, your protection as being born a citizen in Trinidad and Tobago has been removed. Your citizenship has been raped, suppressed, and ripped off of you by the PNM. Your access to resources that you own by being born here is now gone. The fuel subsidy is gone. They are coming to privatize and liberalize the fuel market, the gas market, which means you are not only at the mercy of international prices without a buffer, you are at the mercy of the laissez-faire private sector market and markup and profit margins and profit motive of entrepreneurs. This means that over 300,000 people day will not be able to drive your cars as much, or you will not be able to drive your cars at all. If you are spending $400 TT on gas as of now or last December, by July, so that $400, if you drove a certain distance, let's say 100 kilometers, you will have to pay $1,000 to drive that same distance come July. Think about that. Multiply by 4. That is $2,400 per month more to drive the same distance. Will your salary allow that? Do you even have a job? Those who have lost their jobs. I spoke to a lady today, lost her job, looking for a job, cannot even get an interview. Her husband worked at Carib He get laid off because of the pandemic for the last 5 months. Nothing. No work. 2 parents. A little child, 5 years old. You only feeding the child. So the adults not eating. That's in Trinidad and Tobago right here. And this is people with good jobs, solid jobs, good earning. That's the pain. And you all think it's a funny joke. Left foot, right foot, shake your bam bam, vote. What you want me to say again? Franklin coming for you. Trade union membership declining. I wonder why, Roger. You allow Rowley to emasculate the most powerful union in the history of the Caribbean. The union of Uriah Buzz Butler. The union of the OWTU. The proud union of MacLeod. The union that fought for workers across the country and the Caribbean, that people got inspired as far as Bahamas because of the OWTU. You have a little clown who leaned to the left, so Roger, who attacks a woman, who while the woman is the prime minister, everybody have work. The bald-headed misogynist become prime minister on the backs of lies. Fire everybody. And the man lean to the left and say, yes, Rowley, thanks for firing me. Why you don't kick me to the right now? And now you all wondering why labor unions are diminishing. If you in a fight, look at him. Look how he lean to the left, right? You see how I don't lie? Look how the man lean to the left. Hey, Roger. Hey, what is that lean by? We have to talk about that, Roger. I hear things about you, boy. I hear. Don't let me say it. Douglas politics. Children watching. So the labor union's crumbling. Hear this one now. All you feel is joke I'm making, right? All you? Let me get serious, yeah? All of you who are older than me, my father go be 80 this year. He will know. There a czar called Ken Julian, who anytime the PNM in power, he shows up, and anything to do with billions and billions of dollars, he in charge. Whether it was back with Severn Trent and Wassa, whether it was back with the oil Texaco from since back in the 70s, come forward into smelter plant, into TGU plant, into UTT, into bamboo networks, it always have billions. It have a Ken Julian. Point Lisa's industrial estate, Ken Julian. We thought the last straw was when Small Pin, Recusal Twins, a la Taipans, a la Rental, and Rowley take Ken Julian out of court for the 31 million. Look at the man there, Ken Julian and the next skin plate one. Look at it. All you thought the rape of the treasury was done. Ken old, he hand can't go in the treasury no more. Can't grab no more. Well, up pops little Ken. NGC signs hydrogen MOU with Philip Julian now. Baby Ken now. So a whole next 50 years more to go of a next Julian. Look at all the Phillips joke at area. Express Business page 10. Thursday, 4th February. NGC signs hydrogen MOU with Philip Julian. The National Gas Company, NGC, announced yesterday that it had signed a memorandum of understanding with Kenneth J. Green Limited, KGL, to do work collaboratively on the creation of a sustainable hydrogen economy. And these people that's called other people thief. Them so lucky. They had one man, last 5 decades, 3 boom, and look the next one, his son. He even look, he a little better looking than his father. He must look like his mother. But oh Lord, the lucky aunt. And all your left foot, right foot. Oh God, give me a food card. Give me a hamper. A $410 a month. Please, let me cuss them Indian. Let me cuss UNC. Let me vote for you. Do you know TGU alone, take or pay signed by Ken Julian, which was supposed to be built for the smelter plant, which never built. Take or pay means that you, the taxpayers, over the last 12 years, have paid somewhere in the tune of 300 million US for electricity from that TGU plant at Ken Julian. How much you pay for the UTT campus that start off at 900 million and end up at 1.8 billion? That Ken Julian. How much all you pay across the board? you know, he nearly privatized all your water with Severn Trent, like Ken Julian. He take your 31 million. Christine Sahadio said, do not invest in Bamboo Networks. Ken Julian said, fire burn you. I big with the PNM. Ignore a minister, you know, minister in the Ministry of Finance. Invest all your 31 million. Them take it. Bamboo Networks, Kamla, and the UNC had them in court. Rowley, Smallpin, and Al-Arawi, before he rent his own building from himself to himself and outfit it for himself. He outfit the building looser than the pants. The pants tight, but the building loose. They take Ken Julian out of court, so you can't get back your $31 million. But look at what pressure coming for you because of their incompetence. So, Ken Julian's son, Philip Julian now, what is the tender process? What was this? Was it advertised? Did other people get the opportunity? How much he get for his comic book that he have, the Heroes Foundation? Everything just barely say, them just so lucky. But he is one vote, you know. And all you watching there voting PNM and cussing Anil and cussing Indian. What you're fighting for? You can't get a laptop. You can't get school feeding. You can't get textbook. They cut UTT JED. They cut sport budget JED. They cut PAN. No carnival JED. All you can't get nothing JED. Ken Julian and Philip Julian getting thing. Egg farmers scramble. I like that headline. I like that headline. Who do that? Who do that? Newsday, I like that one. I didn't notice it before now. Egg farmers scramble as government takes hard-boiled stance on price increase. Brilliant, but it's not very funny. I mean, the headline is very creative and makes you want to smile. Well, let me get serious now. With the local egg prices now set to increase on Monday, government officials have said there's nothing much they can do to cushion the impact. So no jobs, collapse, economy collapse, debt to GDP ratio up at 87%. No job creation, no foreign direct investment, savings gone. And now we have inflation, food price inflation. Eggs now. Meat, because you remember I told you all the feed for the animals and all gone up. But the arrogance, leadership leads to arrogance. There was a man called Herbert George. I know him from a long time. He was a swimming parent. His children used to swim at Abbey, Aqualads and Lasses. They were quite good swimmers, national swimmers, very nice children. He's an engineer or something. They put him in charge of NITCO. So when Rowley and Smallpin go on to procure boats without procurement, without advertisement, without board, without tender, without evaluation committee, them go on down to Hostel and Incat and buy 2 boats and then buy 2 more cutlass. Tell all yes, government to government, because they take a loan from the Australian Exim Bank. And all they buy that, they then hand it off to a fella called Herbert George. And Herbert George now has gotten the PNM Bally's sickness that Smallpin was displaying in the parliament when Moonilal asked him a question. Here this NITCO man talking to all here. Not to me, you know, because me I care about none of them but the PNM. Fire about all of them. But all is all your government. Okay. Let me read what he telling all you. About all your vessels, you know, remember? One of all your $500 million vessels was coming up the road and alarms went off on this brand new boat. It had to turn around and go back. That's not a good sign. Imagine you now buy a brand new X6 BMW or Lamborghini Countach and you as your mass gas out of the showroom, beep, 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 alarms go off after you pay $3 million for a car. Well, alarm going off on all your vessel with all your taxpayer money. And here this man, Herbert George, the chairman of NITCO, he said people should not expect constant updates about it, especially since the sea bridge is still being serviced. George said, the public will be notified of the status, but will not be given a ball-by-ball report every time something on the vessel is repaired. All I can tell you, George said, is that it's being done, and we are insisting it's properly done by the original manufacturers. There have been rumor mongers, which he said happened with the Galleon's Passage. Rumor mongers, the Galleon's Passage, worst vessel ever purchased, but it was purchased by ministers. Since when ministers could purchase anything? That's the procurement under Rowley, but UNC thief, don't worry. We don't want that boat. That boat is going to kill people, they say. That was foolishness. People were talking. This is Herbert George. Nobody ever voted for him, you know. But you see, his leader, arrogant, disrespectful, don't understand that it's your money, and so he talking to all you and telling all you both mash up. We just spend our set of all your taxpayer money. We raising tax on all you under pressure. And I not going to report to all you too fast and out of place. I go tell all you when I feel to tell you what I feel to tell all you vote for that. All you vote for that. What you want me to say? That democracy, you know. So the government responds. Former Ambassador Mondelo under Trump went on a big interview and said, boy, Rowley said that, listen, the USA was the past and China is the future. And that worried him. Rowley said, Mondelo, you lie. How you lie so? What you lying about? You know, Newsday article, Rowley said in great detail when lineman with the Chinese ambassador that Britain was our right. Look at it. Rowley responded, he said he never said that. I wonder if you have the article where he said it. Right? He said he go apologize. Rowley, you apologize. Mondelo did not lie. You said, and I quote, in the past, Britain was our #1 trader and investor. And then we moved on to the USA. But now, China, you need our location and we need your investment. So China is the future. Look at there. Look at there. Mondelo did not lie. Rowley Ball Mondelo is a damn liar. And if you find the truth, Rowley would apologize. Let me read it for you. We told them, we need your investment. And you need our location in the Caribbean, Dr. Rowley said. As the world economy evolves, he continued, so too must TT, Trinidad and Tobago. Foreign investment came to this country from Britain and later from the United States. And all along we've had foreign investment inflow. But today, China is the world's second largest economy. So while the economy of Britain drove us for a while, and the US for another period, if we are to tap into serious inflows of foreign direct investment, we have to look into countries that are looking for investment opportunities abroad. And China is that today. Rowley, you lie. Apologize. He said, I never said that. That man, that email gate liar, said that, attacked the ambassador again, just like Smallpin said, we never discussed the Rio Treaty when he went by Mondelo. And Mondelo said, but wait, now that's what we talk about. We tell him that you have to respect the tenets of the Rio Treaty. That's our government. And you all want them to fix crime? Manning say, show me a liar, I'll show you a thief. How much time them lie? In this show alone, I'll show you about 12 times. Ramesh support Kamla. Ramesh say, use the existing THA law, which is pull lots. Presiding officer, just like the parliament in the speaker, if it equal, pull lots. Wham Randall Mitchell and Gypsy, all they fighting over nothing. They gone in a funeral to fight. Gypsy gone in the funeral, and he talk after Randall Mitchell. Randall Mitchell say, yes, well, we have a cultural policy here and we're going to do this and reward. Typical nonsense. Just like how he lost his seat to Brian Manning, he lost his girl to Brian Manning, and I tell him lock up his dog before Brian Manning take his dog too. He come now and like he lost the cultural policy. He nearly lost his portfolio before the Smallpin, when Smallpin was all over Tobago negotiating sandals, and Randall Mitchell like a little boy there. Okay, could you all tell me what's going on, please? Smallpin, what's going on with the sandals? Can I meet Butch? Butchie? Well, you can't meet Butch now because Butch gone to the great beyond. Let me see if you could meet Adam. So Gypsy say, well, what policy? Randall Mitchell come, yes, we're going on the policy here, Gypsy. I heard that before. Randall Mitchell, you only talking that, all you do nothing. All you PNM PNM fighting, PNM and getting licks. I'm gonna take a little break in order to drink some crystal waters, blue waters. I sure I gone overtime already, you know, but fire on that. I still have some topics to go. Small pin in this pile. We coming back.
Politics. This is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics. Listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics. Listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics.
You know which video to show you with Al Rawi, a la recusal, a la tight pants, a la lie down the place, a la. Here, Al Rawi, UNC must support laws against monsters. You just saw Monilal show you, plus I played the video that they vote, the PUNC supported all the laws they bring since 2019 and it's still there till 2021, middle 2021, 3 years or 2022. Hey Al Rawi, I refuse to be one of those politicians who profit on bad news by turning up to be counted among people who are now expressing care and concerns. No, but you will make the most vile, ridiculous, disgusting statements, the most raw political idiocy. So anyway, people know, people figuring you out. But then he goes on now, he says, so I will not be one of politicians to play politics with crime and with the death of a young lady. He said we require the support of both government and opposition. And the latter had refused to support several which could have contributed to the preventing of crimes such as what befell Bharat. That's not disgusting. Even PNM people cringing right now that an attorney general would talk that a child, family, mourning a child and talking that nonsense. It's grossly disrespectful to witness UNC's Khadija Amin in a candlelight vigil for the victim when she could have done her part towards passing laws to protect the people. Isn't that the most idiotic, ridiculous, illogical, insensitive statement you've ever heard? But then he went on to say that the Law Association supported with all these associations. All you have that video of them clip there? Get it ready for me. Al Rawi said the Law Association supported the evidence bill. Now understand people, evidence bills and all these bills are not simple things. The clauses are very serious and you have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and understand and look at the Constitution and other laws and make sure that the rights enshrined in the Constitution are not being abridged and so on. It's not just a simple thing. You come in a parliament and say, hey, lock up people. That's not how it goes, okay? But for this idiot to come and say that and tell untruths. Play the video, let me see. Play Al Rawi, let me. Is that ready? Well, let me wait when you get it. Is the one, which one only have? The one when he lie and balling about the Law Association, everybody was supportive of this bill? Or we have the Law Association first? Right, let's read that. Pull that up for me. This is the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Lift it up a little bit. Over the past years, the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago has been advocating for the allocation of adequate resources and the implementation of proper legislation to improve the criminal justice system. One such example is the present manifestation of the Evidence Amendment Bill 2020, which in its present form, the association cannot support. But we say the Law Association say they support. So I don't know who lie. The Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago also notes several calls for the revocation of the right to bail for certain offenses, especially in these times, and agree that bail should be denied to anyone charged with any criminal offense who it is determined to be a danger to society and who are likely to re-offend while out on bail. The existing Bail Act already provides for the denial of bail in such circumstances. So what is Al-Rawi saying? What is the Guardian trying to say? The Bail Act already that you all said, aye, opposition, government already voted for it. So people charged with those offenses cannot get bail already. Another lawyer, John Larry Williams, defense attorney Larry Williams, says he does not believe the bail amendment bill will fix the ills in the judicial system. Williams said 70% of the cases that are dismissed are the fault of the police officers who take years to bring the evidence to court. The bill collapsed in Parliament in 2020 when the opposition bench withheld their support, citing concerns with certain clauses. So opposition will cite concerns of clauses, but the Guardian don't care what are the concerns. Just go ahead and vote. But this lawyer, Larry Williams, says most cases in the judicial system were delayed because police officers take so long to be ready with the evidence. In 90% of the cases, the police are the reason for the holdup because the defense attorney cannot do anything until the police are ready. The police file is never completed. If you arrest a man a year and a half ago and you arrest him for the possession of ammunition and you don't give him bail, a year and a half later, the police still don't have their act together. They still don't have the statements. You have to give the man bail at some point so people could be inside with no bail. Remember, you're innocent, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty, but already on the Bail Act and all that exists, man could stay locked up. But if you don't bring case, they keep coming and you're not ready and you're not ready. After a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, a magistrate is a human being. They say, well, what is this? That's what happens. So the whole system needs improving. The judiciary needs funding. The police need funding. The people in charge of the funding is Smallpin Rowley and Al-Rawi, the recusal twins. But they come in to blame the UNC. All you in charge, every day, all you say, all you beat we, all you win election, we lost. But all you can't govern, you cannot decide, you cannot keep us safe. You're blaming Kamala. The Prime Minister pleads for information. All you find the video? Play the video, man. Yes, man. If all you have it, play.
Originally introduced in 2018, taken to 2019 in the previous Parliament, was the subject of a special select committee of the Senate. And in that special select committee, Madam Speaker, permit me to put on record the fact that the judiciary, the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Legal Aid and Advisory Authority, Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service, Ministry of National Security, Forensic Science Center, DNA Bank, Children's Authority, the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago, the Justice of the Peace Association, the Assembly of Southern Lawyers, the University of the West Indies, the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service, the Children's Authority, the Justice of the Peace Association, all provided comment, all had their submissions entertained, all support this law. All support this law.
I don't know what to tell all you again, you know. Let me tell you something on top of that. The Prime Minister who say he is the head of the National Security Council and he has intelligence on UNC and what UNC doing and that they're campaigning with Watson Duke in Tobago. You hear lie? Absolute, total, illiterate lie. And why would you lie like that? Why? To give a message to the masses in Tobago that the Indians are coming on the Calcutta ship, so let's vote race. And that's your Prime Minister who has to resort to race because there's nothing that they can point to say we perform well, vote for us, please. They have to play games and they have to lie. The UNC not in Tobago, the UNC have nothing to do with Tobago. In fact, we respect Tobago so much that we stay out. And Watson Duke and the other Tobagonians, PDP, handle this story. But you trying to put Kamala in Tobago to play a race card? That's all Rowley could do. So he could stay there and be a recusal twin. And when people are suffering and dying, he's pleading for information on Andrea. Please give me information. I thought you was a big bad Sawati. That is your job? You voting there to plead for information? I have a challenge from artist Abigail Yearwood, you know. She drew a picture of me too, because I was very impressed with her. How she got all that ugliness from the Pomsite Rasta. She got that and she put it on canvas. The Pomsite saw himself. He loved his ugly self so much. He fly down and find she. He can't find his constituents. He can't find the poor black people who's suffering. He can't get a laptop for children. He can't get water for people. He can't get jobs for people. He can't get food card for people. He changed his cell number and all the constituents can't find him. When he go up in the constituency, he have armed guards and things. And Abigail drop a picture of me. Well done, Abigail Yearwood. All you check she out on her site, pay a little thing and get the portrait, right? I didn't go and collect mine. Me, I like myself so much. All they decided for, they like that, but she's very good, I think. But I have a challenge for Abigail Yearwood. You listening to me, Abigail Yearwood? Can you draw a small pin? Not the small pin, you know. Not this small pin. Can you draw a small pin? Let me tell you this, as we talk small pin, this letter from C.K. Kelly, just brilliant, Mr. Minister, talking about small pin. The editor. According to National Security Minister Stuart Young, there are 8,259 exemption applications pending on January 22nd. How does the minister deal with them? He introduces a new system and not understanding it will take time for the people to get used to it or feel comfortable using it. He gleefully announces the number of applications to have reduced significantly to 3,260. He even admitted that some people might have been deterred by some of the questions asked. What questions did they now consider important that weren't before? Were they asking invasive questions not relevant to the repatriation process? No, Mr. Young. The number of people wanting to come home is still 8,000 odd, even allowing duplications. The number who managed to resubmit their application using the new system is 3,000 odd. And while I admire your brilliance in reducing the number of applications by changing the system, it's not correct to conclude after 1 week that 5,000 odd applicants have disappeared. Well done, C.K. Kelly. You see, when you're bright, small pin and them cannot confuse you. Express newspaper. I'm going to read part of this for you now. Express newspaper has woken up. I don't care why. I don't know why. I just know it was about October-ish when they found out that some shares were being purchased surreptitiously and they wanted the answer. They just had to have the answer. I don't know why, but they've suddenly returned to their principles of journalistic integrity and impartiality. Look, I'm going to read what Express, Sunday Express, 7 February. Government out of touch. The response of National Security Minister Stuart Young to the Police Commissioner's disclosure that roughly half of the country's 1,800 public surveillance cameras are not working was insensitive and out of sync with a nation racked by grief and anger over crime. Just how disconnected Minister Young has become was demonstrated in Parliament on Friday by his response to United National Congress MP Rudal Munilal's request for the timeline in getting. Opting for political grandstanding laced with innuendo, he accused the MP. Were he in touch with the prevailing mood, Minister Young would have recognized that Dr. Munilal's question was on the minds of hundreds of thousands of people. It went on to give a scathing attack of the arrogance, the stupidity, the incompetence of Stuart Smallpin Young. But this has been so from the beginning. Where was this before August 10th is all I have to tell you all. Because these newspapers, while this is correct, you're playing with our democracy, you're playing with our lives, you're playing with our jobs by upholding and uplifting and perpetuating incompetence upon a population because of ulterior motives that are not known. Only your shareholders know. But I applaud you for writing the truth. But let's stick to that. Nobody wants you to be on UNC side, and you should not be on PNM side. Write the truth. Talking about the truth, Let me read for you from Selwyn Cudjoe, a black African leader in this country. Backward ever. I am still trying to understand why Blue Waters needed to import 39 non-nationals to work on this bottling plant when there's such high unemployment among our youths and specialized workers from Petrotrin and other related enterprises. When Kamla Prasad Bisesa questioned Stuart Young about this matter, the latter explained this was a request by a manufacturer to bring a specialized worker to upgrade their plant. This is not unusual or unique. The persons entering would have presented their negative PCR and so on. Young's explanation was unnecessarily censorious. It is unbelievable that after 20 years in business, Blue Waters has not trained local people to undertake such a simple function. The process of producing bottled water is well established. They go on. Backward ever, and join this to the labor movement being decimated by Rowley and his government and Roger. Let's go to some videos now. Al-Rawi came, he tried to hoodwink the population, made some of the most insensitive remarks. The Law Association did not support him. He lied in Parliament and said the Law Association supported his bill. The Law Association media report says we do not support that. And they call for a meeting, a commission of all parties to discuss once more. But you know who support Al-Rawi? Not the Law Association. The Supermarket Association, boy. All you point up now. Put up the billboard. All you don't have it, the green billboard. Put it up. Where is so they say the lawyer, the head, the titular head of the bar cannot get the Law Association to agree with his laws that he's trying to implement on the population. But you know who he could get? The Supermarket Association. Bring sardine, bring corned beef, bring juice, boy, bring juice to support Al-Rawi. Show it now, you have it, put it up. You know your government hit rock bottom when the AG can't get the support of the Law Association, so it depends on the Supermarket Association. All your Trinidad and Tobago, you sweet, all your real sweet. Let me tell you something. We are under pressure because the most incompetent human being has somehow managed to become the leader of the PNM in a system created by Dr. Williams and upheld by PNM institutions such as the EBC that creates a system that the UNC and Kamla could win 78% of the landmass of Trinidad and Tobago but lose the East-West corridor, and the PNM wins. Watson Duke and the PDP can win 80% of the landmass of Tobago, and the PNM wins just a little bit down at the bottom, but it ends up 6-all. It ends up 7-7 in corporations with the UNC, the whole of Trinidad looking yellow, but a little spots of red, but the score ends up 7-7 because of decades of bias, EBC, gerrymandering. We are in this position, and incompetence rules because gerrymandering is needed when the leaders are not of any high order, when they are they have the ability not to perform. They are incompetent, dishonest, and only there to enrich themselves, their family, and their financiers. And that's why our crime situation is as it is and getting worse. You go back and check the statistics. Anytime the PNM is in power, crime escalates. Under Rowley, it has gotten worse. Yes, the COVID-19 lockdown has suppressed figures, but all the elements necessary are there that will promote and encourage crime exist right now. Lack of investment in our youth, lack of opportunities, in education, food price inflation, sufferation, loss of jobs. That is crime waiting to explode. But listen to why. Play the video on this clown, this failure called Keith Christopher Rowley. All you play it and listen carefully, and then you'll understand why we in the pain that we are in.
The yardstick that we will use to measure our success in crime fighting is how you feel about your security. Is how you feel about your security. Is how you feel about your security.
Police youth clubs, half their allocation was unspent. Trinidad and Tobago Police Academy, half unspent. Vision on Mission, whose mandate is to reintegrate and rehabilitate prisoners, etc. Half their budget was unspent in 2019.
We've seen under your leadership and the current leadership that crime has crossed 500 figure, 538 last year, which is one of the second highest on record. Do you foresee that Minister Young will remain in that portfolio heading into 2020?
I don't see a ministerial change now as a response. I think Minister Young, the energy that he brings and the dedication is what is required.
Well, I don't for a moment have to have an excuse as to why crime is existing and what is going on with respect to crime. At the end of the day, I am not responsible for crime. I am not responsible for crime. I am not responsible for crime.
I am not responsible for crime.
Anita Bahadur is the 14th woman to be killed for the year, but relatives believe she could have been alive today if the authorities did their job.
I hereby seek your leave to move the adjournment of the Senate today under Understanding Order 16 to discuss a definite matter of urgent public importance, namely, the failure of the government to take all necessary steps to protect our women from the unprecedented levels of gender-based violence being inflicted upon them.
I'm not satisfied that it qualifies under this standing order. I hereby seek your leave to move the adjournment of the House today under Standing Order 17 for the purpose of discussing a definite matter of urgent public importance, namely the failure of government to address the unprecedented increase in the number of murders and missing persons in Trinidad and Tobago.
Honorable members, I am not satisfied that this matter qualifies under this standing order. I ask you to withdraw from the chamber.
The yardstick that we will use to measure our success in crime fighting is how you feel about your security.
Kamla Persad Bissessar was ejected from Parliament for bringing a motion to discuss the safety of our women and our girls. That was 2016. We in 2021, and Al-Rawi is talking about crocodile tears in the Parliament and talking with arrogance as the numbers just go up and up. Last night I could not talk anymore because I was calling and trying to remember some of the names, and I came across one name, Anaya McLeod. My daughter's name is Anaya. I couldn't go no further. How do you feel? The misogynist, that lying man asked y'all, how do you feel? The man that he say not moving, his Gary Sobers, the best ever. Yes, he's the best ever. Very lucky. His family gets very lucky just by coincidence. 3.81 billion shake off by them. 300 million. Sagicor portfolio, get Clico portfolio, just shake up by them. Maritime is not a big company, but Maritime suing the very same Attorney General now for some 200 million that all you will probably have to pay. Stuart Young is the Minister of National Security and said there, I am not responsible for crime. Anita Haynes, MP for Tabakit, when she was a senator, a few years ago brought a motion to discuss safety of women, girls. What that does is create a debate. If you debate that, you put solutions, you gender policy solutions, all-encompassing debate so that you can chart a path forward to protect our women. 2 women, a female speaker and a female Senate president, deny the motions. And they want to talk about moral high ground. How do y'all feel? Look in Princess Town. I don't know if Archie showed y'all. Look at in Princess Town what is going on. Look across Trinidad and Tobago. Look around the savannah. Look by the Red House. Look how people feel. People are scared. People need protection. Look at people. Rowley say he'll be judged on his crime fight by how you feel. Well, I asking you, the Douglas asking you, how you feel. You feel safe with those people in charge, those people who are not listening to the Commissioner of Police, who not giving pepper spray, who not funding the police, who underfunding the police, who are charting a future of death and destruction to our children and our daughters, who are now going to make it even worse when all of us will not be able to drive our cars. Cars provide safety to our women, our sisters, our mothers, our wives, our daughters, to take them to and fro. When the gas price hike hits, 300,000 citizens will not be able to drive. They will have to go PHH, open, unsecure, out into the world where the monsters are. And you all feel politics is a joke. Politics is not no joke. A man asked me by the barber shop, and he went all in the Senate and all, let us be liming. I don't want lime with nobody up from PNM. Some of the small fries, the young ones who have no idea, them don't even know what them is there for and what them know nothing. But you see them so, you see our recusal, Pin, Dwen, Convantial, done. I don't want to talk with none of them unless it have French in it. You want to know why? I go on, I overtalk tonight. Good night. But I asking you all of you citizens out there, Rowley said he will be judged on crime fight by how you feel. I ask you all, how do you feel with him in charge? How do you feel with Small Pin in charge? How do you feel with the PNM in charge? Do you feel safe? Run the video. Take your time. Don't turn up my volume. Keep my mic down. Because it's a very important video. And before you play it, I just say condolences. Because I cannot even imagine a father or any family member going through what many of you out there have. I say God bless you all. You all are stronger than me. Because I don't even know and I cannot fathom going through the pain of losing a loved one to violence like that. I can't even imagine, so I won't even pretend. But I say condolences, love and respect, prayers and strength to each and every one of you who has been unfortunately touched by crime, by monsters, by disgusting human beings. All I can say is that our hearts bleed for you. God bless. Stay strong. Our prayers are with you. And to all those who have gone, condolences. Run the video.
How did we get here? Who do you think you are? You say I'm crazy, thinking it will disappear. But these scars are real. You say you're sorry, 'cause you feel guilty. But it's only excuses. You stick to your stories. You think you've won. When you scream, I can finally hear myself. Tears blur my eyes. Silenced. The time passes, but how could I forget?